Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. I took care of the paralyzed Christian for 2 years with meticulous attention, and everyone thought the first thing he would do once he stood up would be to marry me. Only I asked him on the night of his successful surgery, "Do you still want to marry me?" He hesitated, and that simple answer ultimately never left his lips. I chuckled. I understand. I took off the ring and left the place I had lived for 2 years without hesitation that very night. Chapter 1. Do you still want to marry me? Christian was slightly taken aback when he heard this, and he looked at his legs for a long time without speaking. The noise from outside seeped through the gap of the unclosed door. The doctor said Christian's surgery was very successful, and he should recover as usual in less than half a month. I really didn't expect Christian to recover. 2 years ago, he almost gave up on himself. Thanks to sister-in-law's unwavering support, they will definitely get married. Better prepare the wedding gifts early. Christian heard these teasing blessings but ultimately remained silent. The air was filled with an awkward atmosphere. Finally, I got up and massaged his knees and calves as usual. Considerately, I gave him an out. "Is this pressure okay?" This finally broke the awkward atmosphere. His tense body gradually relaxed, and as I had for the past 2 years, I softly asked again, "Is there any discomfort?" He shook his head and earnestly replied, "No, you massage better than the caregiver." I stared blankly at my hands massaging his legs. In fact, at the beginning I didn't know how to massage. He couldn't bear the caregiver touching his body, and every time the caregiver arrived, he would lose his temper and drive them away. However, massage was essential for his legs, so I learned from the owner of a massage shop for 3 months. From initially soaking the medicinal liquid and trying it on myself to finally cautiously applying it to his leg. The first time I only dared to massage him while he was asleep. He was a light sleeper and still noticed, and he got angry. "Get out." I didn't leave. I followed the acupoints given by the massage shop owner and massaged again. His legs couldn't move, so he threw a pillow at my head. I remained unmoved, so he simply threw everything he could reach at me. The last thing was a photo frame. Inside was a picture from his university days, with one hand holding a trophy and the other clenched in a fist full of youthful spirit. Warm blood flowed down my temple as he looked at me, trying to struggle to my side, but the limitations of his legs left him helpless. Finally, he covered his face and suddenly burst into tears. "Go, leave, don't stay by my side. It's useless. I can't feel it no matter how hard you press." Chapter 2. At that time he was in despair, and I braved the elements to come every day to give him a massage, until his mother discovered he had taken sleeping pills and hurriedly sent him to the hospital. His mother was at a loss with him, and I squatted in front of him and said, "Look at me." He obediently looked at me and I said, "Everything will be fine, trust me." At that time I didn't even know where my confidence came from. From that day on I moved into his house. Christian's mother cried and thanked me repeatedly, saying it was fortunate to have me. She hesitated, and I knew what she wanted to ask. So I said, "As long as Christian doesn't drive me away, I'll stay by his side." But the truth is, even when he did try to drive me away, I didn't leave. When yet another massage didn't work, he lost his temper. "Get out, all of you, get out." By then, he was already in a wheelchair, and the entire bedroom was smashed to pieces by him. But the good thing is, he finally stopped throwing things at me. After he finished venting, I moved closer to him and said again, "Christian, trust me. This sentence has been said for 2 years. Gradually, he could feel pressure on his legs and then slowly began to do some simple movements. Until yesterday's surgery, the doctors were amazed and said the operation was very successful. Barring any surprises, he will be able to stand up. Chapter 3. Christian's mother heard the news and pressed the bank card into my hand. I looked at the bank card in a daze. These past 2 years it wasn't just for a bank card. Christian's friends all call me sister-in-law, but only I know the truth. I'm not really a sister-in-law. We haven't even confessed our feelings, let alone established a relationship. But fortunately I have Christian's words. "Sarah, once my leg heals, we'll get married immediately." That was during his first treatment when the doctor tactfully expressed regret, and I pushed him home. As soon as he entered the door, he began to break down. The once proud son of heaven suddenly fell from grace. and no one could accept it. I held him tightly and he bit into my shoulder. He bit so deeply and harshly that there are still teeth marks on my shoulder. After seeing the bloodstains, he came to his senses and said to me in a panic, I'm sorry. After apologizing, I massaged his calf as usual, and he asked this question. No, he also asked, Sarah, do you have a crush on me? I didn't deny it and I looked at him and said, yes. He looked at me for a long time before saying he would marry me, but I didn't do all this for an equal exchange. I just wanted him to feel the same way as I do, praying that one day he would fall in love with me too. At this moment, I got up as usual, poured the medicated oil into my palm, rubbed it warm and then touched his calf. I knew he was watching me for a long time, and then his voice came from above. Sarah, you don't need to do these things anymore. My hand paused, but I continued to finish the massage. I looked up and asked once more, unwilling to give up. Christian, do you still want to marry me? He hesitated to speak but still kept his mouth shut. I could only laugh at my own wishful thinking. But the ring on my ring finger was put on by him personally. I've had a crush on him for so many years. How could I not indulge in wishful thinking? Chapter 4. I got up and washed the ointment off my hands. The ring on my ring finger made my heart ache. He spoke outside the door. Sarah, you are my sister. Tears splashed into the water, and I quickly wiped them away. Don't say things like that. Such words are too cruel for me. When I pushed open the bathroom door and went out, the living room was still noisy. I lowered my head and looked into Christian's eyes, struggling to take off the ring. Actually, the ring size was wrong. A size too small. I don't know if he carelessly bought the wrong size or if it wasn't meant for me in the first place. But I knew it was a size too small, and I forced it on, making my finger ache. In the past, I could still deceive myself that rings were supposed to be like this. When I finally took it off, my finger felt relieved, and I regretted not taking it off sooner. Christian averted his gaze as I handed the ring to him. Returning it to you. The mark on my finger was clear, and I added, it was a size too small. He wanted to say something, but I waved my hand. I pushed him out the door. Chapter 5. As soon as I stepped out, the friends in the living room almost surrounded me. The young couple was whispering secrets that even we couldn't hear. Don't worry, we won't tease you today. We'll wait until your wedding. We'll play together for a while longer. Then we'll leave. Christian's friend was polite and courteous like him. Considering Christian just had surgery, everyone brought juice and light food. Someone asked Christian, when you recover, let's go skiing at Titley's again. Christian agreed as usual, never mentioning that skiing or playing basketball would trigger him. His friend turned to me and said, Sister-in-law, you should come too. Christian will book your flight. You'll definitely like it. Christian looked up at me and threw the question to me. My body suddenly relaxed, and I wasn't used to it for a moment. Instead, I couldn't sleep, so I held a cup of water and watched the few stars from the balcony. In the silence of the night, I began to listen to my own voice. I thought I would be sad and heartbroken, but I wasn't. I just touched the red mark on my ring finger and started thinking about when it would fade away. That night, I only felt that the wind was a bit chilly and the stars in the sky were somewhat bright. Christian called in the early hours of the next day. When I answered, there was silence on his end. In the end, it was I who spoke first. Is there something you need? Only then did he tentatively say, Sarah, I want to eat custard buns in the morning. After becoming paralyzed from the waist down, he refused to eat. I tried one thing after another, but he kept his mouth shut and wouldn't take a bite. Finally, my tears fell to the ground as I pleaded. Just take a bite, you have to eat. Perhaps annoyed by my crying, he finally frowned and took a bite of the custard bun. He doesn't like the ones from outside because I learned how to make them. But everything from yesterday is still vivid in my mind, and I still remember his silence. I said calmly, Christian, I'm leaving. Chapter 8. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone, and not knowing what to say, I simply hung up. An astonishing amount of money was left in the bank card, and I was stunned as I counted those zeros. After counting several times, I still couldn't believe it. Only after carefully saving the bank card did I understand my best friend's words. You are not from the same world. Indeed, my parents are just ordinary people. They know I take care of my paralyzed boyfriend and have even come to see me. At that time, Christian's mom warmly entertained them. They were at a loss and told me when they got home, "It's a bit difficult." But they didn't stop me, just waved their hands and said, "It's okay, go ahead and try. At worst, come back home." It was only 2 years later that I vaguely understood Christian's mom's actions. Those exquisite dishes surprised even Christian, let alone the two ordinary people from the county. Christian's mother warmly entertained, clearly doing it for my parents to see. We are not from the same world. I took that card and simply bought a new house, and after buying it, the balance on the bank card hardly changed. Next, I was busy with renovations and various tasks, and half a month later, I unexpectedly saw Christian at the coffee shop at the entrance of the community. He was being egged on by his friend. "Christian, if you don't win back Sarah, I will look down on you. Apologize to your sister-in-law." Who else can be our sister-in-law besides her? I only acknowledge her. Chapter 9. Christian hasn't been out for 2 years. His skin is fair, and when the sun shines on his face, it is dazzlingly white. He heard his friend teasing him half forcefully and half jokingly, and he gave a perfunctory smile. "I'll talk about it when Sarah appears in front of me." Unfortunately, I was at the table right behind them. I instinctively moved aside when I heard this, but the next second, a friend coming out of the coffee shop cheerfully called my name. "Sarah." She ran over to share with me. "Today there's a cake you like." "Christian." The whole table suddenly went quiet, and I watched them follow my friend's gaze to see me. My friend placed the cake in front of me and asked in confusion at my sudden change of expression, "What's wrong?" She became subconsciously nervous because of my expression. Then I realized it was their group making a fuss, and I wondered why I should let them affect my mood. I changed my expression. "It's nothing, sit down. You still remember I like this cake." With just this one sentence, the conversation was opened up. Sitting too close, the voices from Christian's table inevitably drifted over. "It's destined by heaven. Christian, you should apologize. Such a good sister-in-law. I don't believe you can find another like her. I'm telling you, if you don't explain clearly, we can't be friends anymore." I am familiar with every voice. When Christian was bedridden, they each came to see Christian one by one. Among them was a girl who had a crush on Christian. When she went into the room to see Christian, he deliberately spilled water on her skirt. The weather is hot, and the dress is thin. Once it gets wet, the skin becomes visible. The girl stood there awkwardly, and I found a shawl to give to her. Christian looked at her with cold eyes and mocked, "You still like me like this?" The girl's eyes were red, and I gently closed the door. After she came out, she proudly said to me, "I don't want to like Christian anymore. He's not worth it." After saying that, she left with her wet skirt hem, but halfway through she returned. She saw me cleaning the water stains her skirt left in the living room and awkwardly said, "But you're nice, thank you. Don't like Christian anymore. He doesn't deserve you." After saying that, she quickly ran away. Later, we became friends and would exchange gifts during holidays. The people around Christian are not bad. I was lost in thought while listening to my friend's words. It wasn't until Christian's voice sounded that I realized he was standing next to me. He called my name, Sarah. I instinctively looked up. His brows were furrowed, and after seeing me, he seemed suddenly unable to speak. The friends behind him were egging him on. "Christian, apologize and win back your sister-in-law." Christian frowned even more upon hearing this. "But now I don't need his apology. Being in a relationship is originally a matter of mutual consent. Moreover, didn't I already take the bank card? I still haven't figured out the zeros after the number. One can't have it both ways." Christian stood dumbfounded in front of me, and I spoke as I looked at his conflicted expression. "No need, I don't need an apology." He breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this, turned halfway around, then looked back at me and asked, "When will you return?" Perhaps I didn't make it clear last time, so this time I explained it more clearly. "I'm not going back." Christian was lost in thought, looking at me intently, and finally responded with a hum. He turned back to his desk, where his familiar friends were watching the scene unfold. "So did you get her back? When are you getting married? When will I get to hand out wedding candies?" "Not getting married," Christian said with a hint of impatience in his calm voice. The table fell silent suddenly, and Christian repeated himself, his voice unconsciously rising. Why would you think I would marry her? Should I marry her just because I am grateful to her? I said I see her as a sister. It's the third time. One shouldn't be shameless. I simply stood up and said to his friends, "You misunderstood about the marriage. I'm just taking care of Christian for money." Christian looked up at me heavily, and I met his gaze openly. I looked at his furrowed brow and said, "You don't have to treat me as a sister. Just as a stranger is fine." Chapter 10. During the time I was taking care of Christian, sometimes I couldn't help but wonder if Will hadn't had the car accident, would he have fallen in love with me? First I thought I would, but later I thought I wouldn't. I was torn back and forth between yes and no, and in the end there was still no answer to this question. I don't know their answer, but I know the answer for Christian and me. Christian fell in love, making a big show of it. He announced it on social media, openly introducing the girl to his friends. It made it hard for me not to know. I ran into Christian and his girlfriend at a party. With so many mutual friends, no one expected to meet. When Christian walked in with his girlfriend, the friend beside me squeezed my hand tightly because everyone had seen how I took care of Christian those 2 years. I smiled at her reassuringly and confidently looked at the girl Christian brought in. Nothing special. 2 eyes and a mouth. Christian also saw me and casually chose a corner seat by the door. When he sat down, he just asked the waiter for a fruit platter. When the fruit platter arrived, he placed it in front of the girl, who smiled with her eyes curved, leaning in to whisper with him. The girl shared joyfully with him, but he didn't even bother to lower his head, his gaze lazily resting on the fruit platter as he listened to her, making it obvious to outsiders that he wasn't really paying attention. If this is how he dates, then it's actually quite boring. I wasn't provoked, but my friend was. She drank too much and insisted on introducing me to a boyfriend. I patiently explained that she was too drunk. As I helped her out the door, Christian's girlfriend and I exchanged glances. "Sarah, I recognize you." I stopped in my tracks and she continued, "Thank you for taking care of Christian." I nodded and supported my friend, intending to leave. The girl was eager to outdo me, not noticing the sudden quiet around her, and hurriedly stood up in front of me. But if I were by Christian's side at that time, I could do it too. The temper tantrums that could erupt at any moment, the water glasses that could be smashed at will, and the inability to sleep deeply. She said she could do it too. I chuckled softly. Anyone can say words, but there is no such what if. But not necessarily. What if Christian's leg has problems again? She could try to see if she can take care of him. Christian had already changed his expression early on, and a friend stepped in to ease the atmosphere. I also joked to lighten the mood. When that time comes, why not spend some money to hire a caregiver? Just that one sentence and Christian still got angry. Bang! The glass hit the table heavily, and I turned my head to look. He frowned impatiently and said, "It's all in the past. Why bring it up? It's pointless." But if it's all in the past, why can't it be mentioned? It's because he doesn't want it brought up. He considers it humiliating. The friend, upon sobering up the next day and hearing about it, couldn't stop cursing. What does she mean by that? Flaunting it in your face? Let her flaunt if she wants to. I counted the zeros in my bank card balance and surprisingly didn't get angry. It was also at this moment that I realized how powerful money is. But my friend thought I was just being stubborn and mentioned again, "Christian is already in a relationship. Do you need me to help you find a boyfriend? With your qualities, it would be a piece of cake." Nowadays, people are used to fast-paced relationships, but I still want to slow down to meet someone and gradually get to know them, exchanging sincerity for sincerity. I politely declined. No need. Because of my refusal, my friend was convinced that I was still heartbroken over Christian and waiting for him. She cursed Christian from the side, and I laughed and joined in with a couple of curses. The days passed slowly. I learned baking and flower arranging. During this time, there were people who showed interest in me. But when I suggested we take our time to get to know each other, they were treated as if facing a formidable enemy. Then, in less than half a month, I would see news that they had found a girlfriend. Friends laughed at me, calling me a matchmaker. I laughed too. I'm truly not in a hurry. When taking care of Christian, my whole heart was devoted to him. Now, I want to focus on myself first. I want to clear my heart before accepting someone else. I think the person I want to accept in the future should be as sincere as I am. I still look forward to genuine hearts meeting each other. Chapter 12. Christian broke up and within a week started dating again. Once again we made a grand announcement, and friends gradually accepted the fact that Christian and I were impossible. I learned to dive, and every day I would take my equipment to find interesting sea areas. I hadn't been in City A for half a year yet news about Christian intentionally reached my ears. He broke up again. Perhaps he realized something and suddenly stopped. Christian's friends jokingly hinted to me that Christian is now single, urging me to come back. As the new year approached, I had no choice but to go home. But I didn't expect that as soon as I got off the plane, everyone was waiting for me. Christian's friends all came and teased me. "Sarah, you've gotten darker." They didn't distance themselves from me just because Christian and I weren't together. A friend even sent me a message on the day Christian and I cleared things up. "Sarah, I still want to be friends with you even without Christian." But I didn't expect Christian to come too. He stood far away lost in thought. But in the end he stepped forward and said to me, "Long time no see." Half a year ago, his attitude towards me was tinged with subtle resentment, but now he greets me like an old friend. I politely replied, "Long time no see." He hesitated before speaking. "My leg." He was interrupted halfway by my ringtone, and I smiled apologetically at them. After answering the call, as soon as it connected, a bright young voice said, "Sarah, where are you?" I was also affected by his voice. "I'll send you my location. Don't worry, take your time getting here." After hanging up, my friends gathered around me deciding on a place to eat. I waited until they finished talking before asking, "Can we add one more person?" They were all surprised. "Add who?" "Add what person?" The orange windbreaker was dazzlingly bright, and even though I told him to slow down, he still ran all the way to my side. He directly took my hand and said clingily, "I missed you so much." His actions were so fast that even his friends couldn't react in time. I wanted to take the suitcase from his hand, but he refused. Only then did I introduce him to my friends. Noah, my boyfriend. Chapter 13. Sometimes fate is just that strange. It arrives suddenly at a time you can't imagine. Noah confessed to me, and I, as usual, said to take it slow. Actually, I was prepared for him to give up after 2 weeks, but I didn't expect him to hold on for so long. By the time I realized it, his presence was everywhere around me. I'm not young anymore, and when people around me hear me say take it slow, they think I'm just stringing them along. But young people don't. When they hear take it slow, they really take it slow. Sincere and passionate. You hit it well. If it weren't for this return, we probably wouldn't have met. No way, this meal is on you. It's not that I hit it well, but I never expected he would come back with me. I missed my flight due to traffic, and when I rescheduled for the next one, he pitifully sent a message. "Why aren't you here yet? I hate you." Only then did I realize he had bought the seat next to mine to surprise me, but we missed each other due to this unfortunate timing. He landed early and waited at the airport, and we just met up. Friends were still teasing, and I raised my hand with a smile. "It's on me, it's on me." Noah mimicked my gesture and tone, saying, "It's on me, it's on me." He is outgoing and quickly became familiar with my friends. When we sat down at the restaurant, there was just enough space for one more person. Noah. Only then did someone notice that Christian had not come. They called over, and Christian's voice was unclear. "My leg suddenly feels uncomfortable, so I came to the hospital." In this situation, how could they possibly sit still? So sudden. "Are you okay? What did the doctor say?" "It's nothing. The doctor said I just need to rest. You guys go ahead and eat. I'll treat you next time." Although Christian said this, the previous incident was too serious, and his family background was there for all to see. Seeing their troubled faces, I offered a way out. "You should go see Christian. We can have this meal anytime. Just as well, Noah and I are tired and we want to go back and rest." Noah wasn't angry about the sudden change of events. He cheerfully saw the person off. I took Noah home, and along the way, he excitedly pointed at the flowers and plants by the roadside, asking about everything. He has endless things to say every day, even stopping to chat with the dogs by the roadside. When we got home, no one expected the person from the hospital to be standing at my doorstep. Noah paused, holding my hand as he saw Christian step forward and speak first. "Are you Christian's brother?" His voice carried a smile, and he seemed particularly approachable, even calling out brother. I instinctively glanced at him. Christian gave him a smile but didn't answer his question. He looked at me and called out Sarah. His gaze fell on me. "Long time no see," he said again. Noah showed no sign of unhappiness at being ignored and stood obediently by my side, holding my hand. Christian wanted to say something else, but I stepped forward and interrupted him, proactively introducing Noah to him. "This is my boyfriend, Noah." Upon hearing this, Christian pulled a smile at the corner of his mouth and after a moment responded softly, After he finished speaking, he added, "There might be something wrong with my leg." Noah spoke up at the right moment, anxiously concerned. "If there's something wrong with your leg, you should go to the hospital." He patiently asked, "Do you need me to call an ambulance for you?" After taking out his phone, he earnestly explained, "After all, my girlfriend is not a doctor." Christian ignored him and called out to me again, "Sarah." Noah also ignored him, looked at me and directly asked, "Sarah, why is he ignoring me?" How would I know why Christian is ignoring him? Christian called out to me again, "Sarah." Noah chased after me relentlessly, bringing his face close to mine and asking, "Sarah, why?" I pushed his head away. "I don't know." He brought his face close again. I always couldn't resist him, instinctively taking out my house key to open the door, only to suddenly realize Christian was still beside me when I stood at the door. Noah bluntly said, "Sarah, you forgot Christian is still at the door." Christian's expression almost faltered, and seeing my gaze fall on him, he finally spoke, "Shall we talk?" Noah shook my hand. "Sarah, what are you going to say to him?" It was only at this moment that I realized his unusually green tea attitude from the very beginning. I followed his lead a bit slowly and said, "I'm not going to say anything to him." After saying that, I closed the door and Noah came in and hugged me. "I'm jealous." I patted his head. "Jealous of what?" When I first started dating him, I told him everything without reservation. He knows about my past with Christian, so what is there to worry about? "I hate that you're so dense." I didn't know how to respond, but before I could answer, he cheered up again. "Being a blockhead is good." He spoke in a muffled small voice. "Can't even see when others are being nice." But that night, Christian still called. "Sarah, did you know your boyfriend had a first love that lasted 4 years?" Christian was really hospitalized, his condition unknown, and the ex-girlfriends who said they would take care of him went to the hospital one after another. Friends around me even bet on how many days they could last. The result was 2 days. Most left the hospital after just a few hours. Friends said he deserved it and repeatedly told me not to be soft-hearted. Of course, I won't soften my heart. Ever since I took that card, I never thought of looking back. Christian's mom suddenly sent a message one night. "Sarah, can you meet with Christian alone?" When she messaged me, Noah was right beside me. I seriously refused. "Sorry, my boyfriend might mind." She called, pleading desperately. "I'm begging you, I'll give you however much money you want." "Christian, he can't go without eating." "I'm begging you, just let him eat." Why would something like this happen to Christian? She was incoherent, her tone distraught. From her fragmented words, I inferred that Christian's hospitalization was not a minor issue. Christian's mother cried out loud. "Why would such a thing happen to us? Please help me, he can't go on without eating." Noah sat quietly on the side, not wanting to make things difficult for me, generously saying, "Meeting once is nothing, don't worry about me." But it doesn't matter anymore. Why insist on this meeting? As long as I meet once, they will use this excuse to make me meet countless times. I insisted to the distraught woman, "I'm sorry, I don't owe you anything. I have my life to live and so does Christian." The next day, I learned from a friend that Christian had a problem with his leg. The doctor said it was a rare occurrence that happened to him. After he stood up, his muscles atrophied, and he might have to return to his previous life. During that time I stayed with him and he found it unbearable. Not to mention experiencing the feeling of standing again, only to have problems arise and be told he might be paralyzed. I didn't reply to that message. Christian suddenly called. I thought he called to ask about massage and medicated oil. But no, he said, "Sarah, do you believe that you and your little boyfriend won't last long?" I didn't answer and he continued, "Want to make a bet? Bet on your boyfriend's loyalty?" I don't know how to bet on loyalty, but I know that as soon as you have the idea of testing it, trust will immediately crumble. I won't join you in such a pointless bet. But he didn't care about my refusal. He said one last thing. Just wait and see, all men are the same. I treated this matter as an interlude and moved on. The following days were continuously busy because of the end of the year. Noah wanted to hang out with me here and asked me several times, but I didn't have time. He was dejected, with disappointment written all over his face. Eventually realizing I was genuinely busy, he started wandering around the city alone. His personality never lacked friends, so I wasn't worried about him not making any. Sure enough, in just 2 short days, he was already eager to go out. In the morning, he would leave before I did. Sometimes when I was awake, I would run into him. Other times, when I went to the living room while still half asleep, I could only see the notes he left. As the notes piled up, unease slowly and belatedly crept in. What is he doing? Who is he meeting? I remembered when I was on a business trip for a week, he pestered me asking what I was doing. For the first time, I understood his thoughts. I'm too slow to warm up, always a step behind in sensing the other person's thoughts. I want to have a good talk with him. But before I could find the time to talk to him, Christian sent a photo after changing his number. Noah was laughing happily with a girl in the coffee shop. In an instant, unease surged in my heart. He told me in the morning he was meeting a friend. Christian messaged, "See, all men are the same." I don't know why he sent these messages, he kept sending more photos. He said, "Guess, will he come home tonight?" I deleted and blocked him. Chapter 16. I sat at home, hesitantly asking Noah what he was doing. He replied quickly, "Having dinner with friends." In the end, I didn't ask, "When will you be back?" "Around 10 in the evening." So I waited until 10 at night. Time passed by second, and I sat on the sofa anxiously waiting. At 11 o'clock, Noah still hadn't returned, not even sending a single message. Christian changed his phone to call me. So, isn't it true that all men are the same? But I don't know what his intention is in doing this. Even if Noah really betrays me, so what? If he betrays me, then I'll break up with him and find the next one. It's that simple. I never lose the courage to try just because I've been hurt. When the girl who liked Christian before told me that Christian wasn't good enough for me, my instinct was to doubt it. How could someone so kind-hearted and with countless virtues not be good enough for me? Now, as I stand from an objective perspective looking back at the 2 years I took care of him, he had a bad temper and was self-destructive, having the most advanced medical equipment yet unwilling to try it. Now he even wants to drag me into self-destruction with him. He truly doesn't deserve me. I waited at home until 1 in the morning. Noah still hadn't returned. But why should I wait? Why should I believe Christian's words instead of asking myself, why should our matters be interfered with by Christian? I put on my coat and pushed open the door. Just as I went downstairs, I happened to run into Noah at the bottom of the building. Chapter 17. He got out of the car, and a girl was sitting in the back, the one from the photo. He saw me and suddenly seemed a bit at a loss, calling my name to explain. "Sarah, I came back a little late." The woman in the car also saw me and waved her hand at me. The car was about to leave, and I stopped it before it drove off. The driver scolded me for not knowing the danger, and I knocked on the car window. The woman revealed a beautiful face and asked me, "What's wrong?" I asked her, "Are you Noah's first love?" She panicked at my words and explained, "You must be Noah's current girlfriend. Don't get me wrong. I'm just here on a business trip." I interrupted her. "Is it or is it not?" Noah realized I was angry and leaned in anxiously to explain. "There was traffic, so I got back a bit late." He said 10 o'clock at night, but now it's 1 in the morning. Was there traffic for several hours? I asked again. "Is it or is it not?" "Yes." During our relationship, Noah never told me about this first love from beginning to end. Some people might not mind, but I do. I broke up with Noah on the spot. The girl hurriedly got out of the car to try to persuade me, following behind me and speaking one sentence after another. "I didn't mean to disturb you. It just so happened that I ran into Noah, who was also traveling here, so we had a meal together. We really didn't do anything. You can check the surveillance." The more she talked, the more I remained unmoved until Noah finally spoke up. "Shut up. She stood there at a loss, and Noah stopped and said to her, "You should go first." He watched the girl leave, then turned around to catch up with me, followed me home and blocked the door, not letting me in. "We need to talk." I looked up at him. "There's no need." When I agreed to date him, I said that both people should be sincere with each other. I told him everything in detail, but he hid the fact of his first love and that he had dinner with her. I am not a piece of wood. I just chose to be like a piece of wood because I was with him. I don't want to chat and laugh with others, nor do I want to engage in others' topics or jokes. I choose to ignore others' kindness and treat them coldly. Let's just break up like this. Chapter 18. This relationship was announced quickly and ended just as fast. My friends asked me to bring Noah along to hang out, and I openly said, "We broke up." Friends sighed and insisted on introducing me to a boyfriend, but I still refused. I still hope for someone sincere, and if not, I'd rather be alone. Christian's mom still calls me, asking me to visit Christian. I still didn't agree, sent her all the recipes and prescriptions, and booked a ticket back home. This time I didn't miss the flight, and when I sat in my seat, Noah was sitting next to me. He smiled with his eyes and said to me, "Sarah, this time we didn't miss it." But he doesn't even want to understand why I'm upset. He just wants to make up with me blindly. I was wrong. Let's make up. Please forgive me. Let's be good together. He repeated these words over and over. When he was pursuing me, I could ponder over a punctuation mark for half a day, but now he doesn't even want to explain properly. Moreover, I repeatedly refused even when Christian's mom just wanted to meet me once. I really can't think of any reason why he must meet his first love. If we don't make up, then let's leave it at that. After getting off the plane, he stood there, and when I turned to look while getting a cab, he had indeed already left. A sincere and passionate child with an unsettled heart. But it's okay, at least I enjoyed his passion. I will still look forward to starting the next relationship with anticipation.